Today we will discuss about chemical coordination and integration chapter. Here we are mainly discussing about that endocrine glands and the hormones. Endocrine glands that are nothing but ductless glands which do not have the ducts. The secretions of these endocrine glands that are hormones. How can we define a hormone? Here, a hormone that is a non-nutrient chemical. Hormones that is a non-nutrient chemical and that can act as an intercellular messenger. Intercellular messenger. In between the cells, it will show the action. So that means it is producing at one point and it will show their action on another point. It will travel through the blood and show their action at another point, that is nothing but target organ. And it is produced in very small amount, trace amounts it is produced. Okay, that hormone is non-nutrient chemical, intercellular messenger and produced in trace amounts. Okay, in case of invertebrates, a simple endocrine system is there which is producing a very few hormones. Okay, in this session we will discuss about that human endocrine system. So the generally human endocrine system that includes that endocrine glands along with the hormones producing tissue also comes under the endocrine system. Okay, so endocrine glands and hormones producing tissue both comes under that endocrine system which is present at different parts of the body. Let's see that different where is that they are present. Okay, so let's see this, that hypothalamus, pituitary gland, pineal gland, the neck region, thyroid and parathyroid are present, and here that thymus, pancreas, adrenal gland, and that gonads in case of male, that is testis, and in case of female, that is ovary. These are all endocrine glands. Okay, so hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, and thymus, pancreas. Okay, this adrenal gland and this gonads like testis and in female ovary, these are all producing that hormones. Along with that, some of the tissues that are like a gastrointestinal tract, liver, kidney, heart. This gastrointestinal tract, liver, kidney also produces some hormones. Let's see each and every endocrine gland in detail now. Okay, so we'll start with that hypothalamus first. Hypothalamus. Let's see that hypothalamus. So where it is located? That is located at basal part of diencephalon of forebrain. Basal part of diencephalon and forebrain. Okay, so and it regulates a wide spectrum of the body functions. There generally this hypothalamus that consists several groups of neurosecretory cells, that is otherwise called as nuclei. Neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus is nothing but nuclei which is producing some hormones, that hypothalamic hormones that regulate the synthesis and secretion of pituitary hormones. That means hypothalamus is controlling over pituitary gland. Okay, this hypothalamic hormones is of two types, that are releasing hormone and that inhibiting hormone. If you see this releasing hormone, that will stimulate the secretion of pituitary hormones. Whereas the inhibiting hormone that will inhibit the secretions of pituitary hormones. It's an example of this releasing hormone, that is a gonadotropin releasing hormone. Gonadotropin releasing hormone is synthesized in hypothalamus. It is a hypothalamic hormone that will stimulate the pituitary gland. That whenever it will show their action on pituitary gland, that will synthesis and releases gonadotropins. Okay, like that somatostatin is an inhibitory hypothalamic hormone. The somatostatin will inhibit that pituitary gland, release. Whenever somatostatin will show their action on pituitary, it will not release that growth hormone. No release of growth hormone will occur if somatostatin will show their action. That is an inhibitory hypothalamic hormone. Okay, hypothalamic hormone. Let's see that here how this will show their action, how it will reach that pituitary gland from hypothalamus. See here, that hormones which are originating in that hypothalamic neurons, that will pass through and released from the nerve endings. See the diagram here clearly. This is the black color given. This is hypothalamus. Here these are the neurons. Okay, these are the hypothalamic neurons. Okay, here these hormones are synthesized in hypothalamus, and that will pass through this hypothalamic neurons, and it will reach that nerve endings. It will reach. So from here it is synthesized and it will reach to this nerve endings, and this is pituitary gland, anterior pituitary, posterior pituitary. So from this hypothalamus through these neurons, a portal system is there. Portal circulation. Through this portal circulatory system, it will reach that anterior pituitary. This is the portal circulatory system. Through the portal circulatory system, that hormones will reach that anterior pituitary. Whereas if we see this posterior pituitary, okay, see here it is direct neural regulation of hypothalamus. This posterior, there is no portal system here. Directly that is releasing into this posterior pituitary. Okay, so here very important mark, this posterior pituitary is under the direct neural regulation of hypothalamus. Directly, there is no portal system. In between the hypothalamus and posterior pituitary, whereas between anterior it is there. Okay, next gland, that is a pituitary gland. Here the pituitary gland, that is location where it is located in the bony cavity, that is sella turcica. So pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity, sella turcica, that is attached to that hypothalamus by a stalk. A stalk is there, that is through that it is attached. Here anatomically this pituitary gland having two parts, that are adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. This adenohypophysis consists two portions again, that are pars distalis and pars intermedia. Here this pars distalis, that is commonly called as anterior pituitary. However, this pars intermedia almost merged with this pars distalis. Okay, so pars intermedia almost merged with pars distalis. This pars distalis, that is commonly anterior pituitary, and this pars distalis, that is anterior pituitary, will produce these hormones that are like a growth hormone prolactin, PRL, thyroid stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone. So these are all produced from where? From where? From anterior pituitary, or we can say that adenohypophysis. Sorry, adenohypophysis, or we can say that pars distalis, especially pars distalis. The pars intermedia, that will secretes only one hormone, that is a melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone. Next, that is neurohypophysis, that is otherwise called as pars nervosa, that is otherwise called as posterior pituitary, and that will stores and release oxytocin and vasopressin. Okay, stores and releases oxytocin and vasopressin. Here you have to understand one thing. Here, see, notice that stores and release, not synthesize. Here, oxytocin and vasopressin that are synthesized from hypothalamus and transported axonally to neurohypophysis. Okay, directly to neurohypophysis, that is a posterior pituitary will come. Just this pars nervosa will store and release oxytocin and vasopressin. Very important mark. Stores and release, not synthesize. Okay, stores and releases oxytocin and vasopressin, but that is synthesized by oxytocin and vasopressin synthesized by hypothalamus. Stores and releases by pars nervosa. Okay. Next, so let's see the hormones of each and every hormone clearly. That is like a growth hormone. This growth hormone, that is oversecretion of growth hormone. That is leads to gigantism, abnormal growth of the body, and low secretion of growth hormone, that is pituitary dwarfism, that is stunted growth. Okay, if the excess secretion of growth hormone, especially in adults, especially in that middle age, the middle age people, if it is overly excessively secreted, that leads to acromegaly. What is this acromegaly? A protruded jaw, that we can say that especially in face, severe disfigurement in face will be different. Okay, so here we cannot diagnose the disease in the early stages, and here if it is unchecked, that leads to premature death also, that may lead to serious complications, and when we can detect, that means when external features changes, then only we can this acromegaly is noticeable. Okay, so that is about the growth hormone. Next, prolactin, that is PRL, that will regulates growth of mammary glands and formation of milk in them. Okay, that will regulates growth of mammary glands and formation of milk in them. Okay, next, thyroid stimulating hormone, that will stimulate that thyroid gland. Then whenever thyroid stimulating hormone stimulates thyroid gland, they will synthesize and secretion of thyroid hormones will occur. Okay, and this pituitary hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulates adrenal cortex. Then it will synthesize that glucocorticoids, synthesis and secretion of glucocorticoids will occur. These glucocorticoids, that are steroid type hormones, glucocorticoids that are steroid type hormones. Okay, here see once again, prolactin will regulates growth of mammary glands and formation of milk in them. thyroid stimulating hormone is responsible for the synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormones. Adrenocorticotropic hormone will stimulate adrenal cortex and responsible for synthesis and secretion of glucocorticoids, which are steroid hormones. Next, gonadotropins, that are luteinizing hormones and follicle stimulating hormone. So what is this? Why we call that as gonadotropins? Means they stimulate the gonadal activity, so we call that as gonadotropins. In case of males, this luteinizing hormone will stimulate testes that will synthesizes and secretion of androgens will occur, luteinizing hormone. And this androgens along with follicle stimulating hormone that will regulate that spermatogenesis. In females, that is in females, this luteinizing hormones that will induce ovulation of Graafian follicles. What is this Graafian follicles? Mature follicles, fully mature follicles. The menstrual cycle, that ovulation will occur on 14th day now. So from that fully mature Graafian follicle, that is induced by this luteinizing hormone. After the ovulation, that Graafian follicles will turn to, that remnants of that Graafian follicles is turned to corpus luteum, that is maintained by this luteinizing hormone. Okay. Then follicle stimulating hormone in females that will stimulate growth and development of that ovarian follicles in females. Okay. So follicle stimulating hormone along with androgens, spermatogenesis in males. Follicle stimulating hormone alone in females that will stimulate the growth of ovarian follicles in females. Okay. Then come to this melanocyte stimulating hormone. Okay, melanocyte stimulating hormone. Okay, that will act as melanocytes. That will act on the melanocytes. Melanocytes in the sense pigment containing cells, melanin pigment containing cells that will regulate that pigmentation of the skin. Okay. Next, oxytocin. Here, oxytocin, this oxytocin acts on smooth muscles of our body and stimulates their contraction, both in males and females. Okay, not only in females. Oxytocin, both males and females, this acts on smooth muscles of our body and stimulates contraction. Whereas in case of females, in females, this oxytocin stimulates vigorous contraction of uterus. Vigorous contraction of uterus will occur during the time of delivery. At the time of childbirth, the contraction of uterus will occur. Okay, that is stimulated by this oxytocin. And that milk ejection from mammary glands. Okay, so the oxytocin will show their action on mammary gland and the milk is ejaculated. Ejaculation of milk will occur in case of females after the delivery. Okay. Next, vasopressin. So this oxytocin and vasopressin, these are all synthesized from where? Oxytocin and vasopressin are synthesized from hypothalamus, stores and released from post-pituitary neurohypophysis. Okay, so here this vasopressin that will show their action on kidney, that will stimulate reabsorption of water and electrolytes by distal convoluted tubule. Okay, so if this vasopressin is not there, continuously water will loss in the urine. Okay, so that condition, that is nothing but loss of heavy water through urine, is nothing but diuresis. This vasopressin reduces that. So opposite to the diuresis, so we call this vasopressin as anti-diuretic hormone, ADH, anti-diuretic hormone. If this vasopressin is not there, anti-diuretic hormone is impairment is there, that leads to diabetes insipidus, diabetes insipidus, impairment affecting synthesis or release of ADH. Okay, so if it is not released synthesis, diabetes insipidus will be there. That means diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water. There is no conservating mechanism, that reabsorption will not be there in kidney, and that leads to dehydration, water loss. Dehydration and water loss. Okay, so that is about that pituitary gland.